Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
And welcome to another very special edition of Ruthless Talk. Well,
Welcome back.
Welcome back indeed. I want to shout out everybody. I was on Instagram Live the other day watching NXT Vengeance Day. That was Sunday night. And we did have a handful of people that did join that Instagram Live, as well as my man David from Top Bunk Sports. Shout out to him. Had a nice little chat with him during that little live. So I appreciate my man, as he will be a part of our big WrestleMania roundtable. So there's your one spoiler for our guest coming up. So David will be back, and he will be
Looking forward to that.
Part of our roundtable. Absolutely. So shout out to him, and shout out to everybody that was in or checked out that Instagram Live, as well as shout out to NXT, who had a pretty decent Vengeance Day show, this pay-per-view this past Sunday. A badass match with Dijak and Joe Gacy. The women putting on a decent performance. The Lola Vice thing, it was a little questionable, but it is what it is. That's a different story for a different day. But of course, the big story coming out of it was Carmelo Hayes turning on Trick Williams, which was done very, very, very freaking well. And I've even said it in a TikTok, Brian. I was like, listen, I hear all this hype about Carmelo Hayes, and I'm just seeing another guy on the WWE roster. But hey, now with this shtick with Trick Williams, now this is, something I can sink my teeth into with him. So we'll see where that goes. He did a decent job over on NXT this past Tuesday, or just last night. Teasing the crowd with Trick Williams music playing, and then all of a sudden it's like those little, I got you, I fooled you, y'all are all so stupid for buying that whole type of spiel. So shout out to Carmelo Hayes, man. So I'm interested to see where that goes, and we'll see as we get closer to their next big pay-per-view, which I'm sure is going to be around WrestleMania weekend. So we'll soon find out with that. But anyway, today is all about Monday Night Raw. Today is all about Monday Night Raw as we continue along this road to the Elimination Chamber and, of course, WrestleMania as well. So, Brian, next week is it's Valentine's Day season. The love is in the air, is what people want to say, right? But with the wrestling world, it's the complete freaking opposite. Not so much, as fans are legit in an
losing their
fucking minds over this whole Cody Rhodes spiel. There's a "We Want Cody" movement, a "Whoa" movement, all because of one man that's now become the most hated person in professional wrestling, and that is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, as it is now clear that he is going to be facing Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. And Cody Rhodes, well, seems like he's going to be going after the Dusty title, the World Heavyweight Championship that is held currently by Seth frickin' Rollins himself. And it has just been a divide between Cody Rhodes fans, The Rock fans. It's like, are you team Cody? Are you team Rock? And that's pretty much where we're at right now in regards to all of this. And I have a lot to say, but I want to switch things up a little bit. Brian, I'll have you start off in regards to all of this, as we've seen the "We Want Cody" signs from this past Monday night on Raw. And it seems like this company, WWE and Triple H, they're starting to, dare I say, kind of play into this a little bit. They're trying to, they're teasing everybody, maybe potentially of a triple threat. Going to get to that, talk about that in just a second. But, it definitely seems like they're playing into this a little bit, and then they're kind of just having fun with it, quote unquote, defining fun, right? But I'll have you start this off, Brian, in regards to all this, because I got a lot to say, but I'll have you start, man. Your thoughts about all this outrage with wrestling fans and this "Whoa" movement, this freaking "We Want Cody" movement, and just your thoughts, man, in regards to this situation with Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns.
First, I'll start. Let me say, the narrative I'm pushing here, or we're pushing here, really is ultimately comes down to, look, the WWE, The Rock, TKO, right now they're playing chess, and there's a lot of wrestling fans playing checkers, man. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to.
Right.
Look, well, all this here's man, it's because there's so many avenues to go down with this. First of all, I'll say The Rock, TKO, WWE have more than succeeded already within a week of doing exactly what they intended to do last Friday night when The Rock came out there. And that was to get you talking about this and arguing and twittering and whatever.
That's right.
Because you know what you're not talking about? Vince McMahon.
Yep.
That's what you're not talking about. So they've already fucking accomplished exactly what they wanted to do, people. Like, again, as you talk about it, we talk about it. At the end of the day, this is a $1 billion business at this point. It's a business. Like, dude, any way you want to cut it. First of all, just as a fan, yes, this is me as a fan, and I would hope to, from what we've publicly seen from The Rock, and of course we've seen many times, people are different privately than they are publicly. Could The Rock be one of those? Sure, anybody can. But from what we've seen from The Rock, like, this is not a situation of him coming in here sort of like a Vince McMahon saying, no, I run shit here now, and I'm having the main event at Mania. Guys, there was so much, right? Punk came back, right? A lot of people were coming back, had come back. We're heading into Rumble, and what the fuck happens? Vince leaves you with a fucking bag of shit on his way out. And that's what people were talking about, right? Heading into the Rumble, right? That's it, because it was an excellent build. You and I talked about it. This is, like I said it, like, I really was so excited about the Rumble, just with all the potential returns, how it's going to go down. And then boom, Brock's out. That changes the Rumble, and all this with Vince. So, and at the same time, Rock is coming on to now the board of directors at TKO. And frankly, look, I don't know who wrestling fans would, and I don't know who exactly is on the board of the entire TKO, but I'm sure there are people on there that are just suits and ties, don't know shit about wrestling, don't give a shit about wrestling. So to have somebody like The Rock, or if it was a Triple H, or a Cody Rhodes 20, 30 years down the road, shit, the guy's already helped start a fucking company. But to have somebody with the pedigree of The Rock, you want somebody like that on the board of directors guiding this ship. Would you not? You know what I mean? So I don't know. This whole idea, like, that Rock came in and whatever, threw his weight around, and now he's controlling everything, and oh my God, man, like, bro, like, you got to look at the bigger picture and the real life fucking picture of why this is all happening right now. And it's two things: Vince McMahon and an injury to CM Punk. That's it. That's why this is happening. So I don't know. Look, wrestling fans gonna bitch. Wrestling fans gonna, because it's not their guy. It's not their, and that's gonna happen till the end of time. All I'm saying is, man, there is a much more important, bigger story than frankly Cody's WrestleMania finishing the story. There's bigger shit, real life shit going on, man. Like, so fucking pull your heads out of your asses. And to even like last Friday's interaction with The Rock, right? The look on Cody's face, like, I have no doubt, of course he's, frustrated, upset, pissed, angry, whatever. But this is also a guy that has grown up in this industry, has lived this industry, and understands this. Like, those two, you arguably couldn't get two guys standing there together that have grown up in this industry and know what it's about, and know what they're trying to do going forward, right? Cody, even in the business sense, like I said, he was just part of starting AEW. So he's dipped his toes in those waters already. Like, he gets it, right? And And the look on his face told me that, like, yeah, this really, like, hurts, for him, but also like he understands the business, what is happening in the real world outside of this fictional wrestling world,
Yeah.
right? So it's the timing sucks. A lot of things suck, but I mean, look, and there's two ways you could go with this now. Now that you see the crowd has reacted this way to The Rock, I don't know who needs to hear this, but The Rock was also the top fucking heel as well when he was, during the Attitude Era. So
Yeah.
if that's an avenue they want to explore, they could absolutely freaking do that now. And think about this with Cody, right? The wrestling fans that want him to finish the story and what all of this is about. And his, new, like, the all-American hero, the American Nightmare, whatever you want to call it. If he now has to go through Rock and Roman to get that title, whenever it is, SummerSlam, next Mania, whoever, this Mania, shit, they could pull some huge fucking swerve, who knows? But the reaction at that point, again, because we've talked about it here, you got to get what Cody had last year is gone. You now have to build something back up to, it might not get to that degree again, but you have to build something back up with Cody. So, all these people, that are, I don't know, man. I mean, the legit hate and anger that it's like, bro, it's just, excuse me, it's just a bigger picture here, and it's business at the end of the day. And look, I have no doubt. Again, this is taking a chance because injuries happen, storylines happen. You're taking a risk, no doubt. But what you have now, just with The Rock in the fold, and what I see or hope to be, and I think most fans, if they're honest, see a brighter future with Rock there kind of at the head of the table than Vince McMahon or a Triple H or a Nick Khan, or I do. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But I would trust him more with the wrestling storytelling aspect than almost anybody. So, I mean, shit, man. It's like I said, like the WWE is in a good place with a lot of things and a bright future. And all of this was to have you not talking about Vince McMahon. And guess what? You're not. They won. End of story.
Yeah.
Like,
that's exactly right. So here's what I'll say, because I got a lot to say. Because this, Brian, if I can put it into one word, it's a mess. It's a mess. This entire past couple days, the entire weekend, it's been a complete fucking mess. Because here's what I'll say. I was on Richie Mars's podcast, and it was all about this Cody Rock debate. Who should face Roman at Mania? And, of course, my answer, even as a Cody supporter, we both have been big Cody supporters,
absolutely.
Brian. Both of us.
Yep.
And, but I stated that, listen, I choose The Rock over Cody facing Roman because it just intrigues me, as I'm sure also a lot of other people, more than you just running it back once again. You're doing the same thing. You didn't do anything different. Don't give me all these little, they did a face-off, this and that. Guys, they didn't do shit. They didn't do anything to get you that much more captivated. Cody and Roman, all of their interactions, whether it was with Jey Uso, right, frickin' the Bloodline, Solo, all of this stuff, it had nothing to do with Cody or Roman at Mania. It was put on hold, and Triple H said, all right, once we get to the Rumble, let's just run it back and just do the same shit again. And I feel for everybody to a degree. I really truly do.
Absolutely.
I feel what everyone else is feeling for Cody, because I was the very first, as well as you were, Brian, about this guy. It's Cody or bust. Cody Rhodes has to defeat Roman Reigns because we saw the writing on the wall. Roman Reigns was going to be more part-time than ever after WrestleMania 39. Everything that he did up until this point had nothing to do with this freaking title, but everything that Cody Rhodes did called for the title to be involved. And because now that The Rock is back and the fact that Roman Reigns is still holding on to this title, this is just the situation that we're in. And it sucks, and I feel for everybody. But guys, like the fact that all of this hatred is with The Rock and how Rock is this horrible person, it's like, Brian, you would think that this dude caused fucking World War III, or this dude committed a first-degree fucking murder. Because, Brian, it's got to the point to where we go on social media and we also trash Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter, for fuck's sake, to where she had to go activate. Did you hear about that, Brian? No. I don't even know if you did. She had to deactivate her fucking Twitter because fans want to attack her because she's the freaking Rock's daughter. Because here's the reality. All The Rock is doing, guys, is doing his part. Because it's not The Rock's fault that for a fucking year, they have done nothing for Cody's story to be that much more intriguing than this past year. Because here's the reality. I understand to a degree, Brian, people are upset that The Rock is taking a spot from Cody. Guys, The Rock shows up. Here's the reality. The Rock shows up once or twice, probably every 3 to 4 fucking years, right? The rest of that time, these wrestlers and this company has the fucking stage to have the same reaction and the feel that The Rock does still to this fucking day. But The Rock is the most hated person in this fucking industry because all he's doing is his part. Because it's not like The Rock travels across the fucking globe on talk shows, Jimmy Fallon, and speaks nothing but the highest degree about WWE and about professional wrestling as a whole. And we want to trash this dude like he's some schmuck, like he's just this, like he legit caused World War III or a first-degree fucking murder. It's ridiculous. And it's like, and here's another thing. Frickin', I heard this from Bubba Ray, right? In his frickin' Busted Open podcast, right? Or whatever it's called, right? And we're talking and we're making headlines about The Rock bullied his way to the WrestleMania main of bullies. Like, I mean, the fact that Brian, we've gotten to the point where to get clicks and views makes me fucking nauseous. I mean, bullies. That's what we're using here. Bullies. It's like, bro, it's like The Rock just went into freaking headquarters, grabbed Triple H by the throat, pushed him up against the wall, and says, "Guess what, freaking Triple H? I'm gonna be in the main event, not you." He takes Cody Rhodes. He puts him in tucks him like freaking head first into a toilet like a swirly and like a freaking kid getting bullied in high school. It says, "Nope, I'm in the main event now. It gets some Mel," right? Like, what are we saying here, guys?
Yeah.
What the fuck? and we go after The Rock's daughter. Why? Because
I didn't even hear. No, I hadn't heard about that. But that's, I mean, bro, come on, man. Like,
because
grow the fuck up.
You didn't get what the fuck you wanted. Because again, guys, it's not The Rock's fault that he's doing his part, because for an entire year, while The Rock is not there, this company and these wrestlers have the opportunity to have that stage and to be captivating and to have a connection with these wrestlers. And it's not The Rock's fault that not even 90 to 95% of them don't even get the same fucking reaction, if half of that. It's just, Brian, it blows my freaking mind. Go ahead, Brian.
I got to go back to even last year, right? Because last year's Mania was in Hollywood. And if you remember, like, there was early on, probably like, once we got past the Rumble, I think we knew that Rock wasn't coming back. But, up until that point, there was like, maybe possibilities. Like, even a year ago. And you go back even to the fans a year ago. If Rock had been able to, or they had come to some agreement a year ago in Hollywood, Rock would have been the main event against Roman then too, people. Like, he just would have. Like, so it just, I don't know, man. Like, it's typical wrestling fans though. But yeah, to take it to that degree to, I don't know, harass his daughter to the point like she has to, shut down her shit. Like, It's
Like, she has
just
nothing to
knuckle
do with this
draggers, man.
shit.
Knuckle draggers.
Like, she's trying to mind her own business doing her shit in NXT, and she's got to worry about fucking death threats on her freaking social media. Like, guys, like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
God damn it, this community, bro. I swear to God. And here's the thing, too. You know who we don't put enough blame on? And I've said this from day one. Like, freaking Triple H. Like, Triple H, bro. Listen, and I get it. It's like,
I think in this situation, it's 100% Vince. Vince left this shit at the doorstep, man. Vince and the injuries is why we're here at going into Mania.
To a degree, yes, but here's the thing. But here's why I say Triple H, Ryan. And you're not wrong to a degree. But here's why I also say Triple H. And yes, Vince to a degree as well with this whole thing with the lawsuit. Absolutely. It's just with Triple H. It's just because, like, once again, Triple H is being visualized as the victim in all this. Oh, because The Rock is part of the TKO order and he bullied his way. It's like, it's the same shit we've heard with Vince McMahon when he's secretly booking these shows, because everything is never Triple H's fault. Never Triple H's fault. Never. Because here's the thing, Brian. I'm at the point to where everybody deserves a slice of the pie of the blame in this entire situation. Vince, yes. Right. And any other name, of course, like the injuries and all this. Yes, absolutely. But when do we start blaming Triple H for something to where, guys, it's just like we act like this freaking The Rock just storms into freaking Stamford, Connecticut, and he holds Triple H by the throat and he's bullying him and he's got, oh, well, his hands are freaking tied. Well, forgive me not that I don't have sympathy for almost a multi freaking billionaire, right, that freaking just had an entire year to build Cody properly. And Brian, he knows this. He knows, because here's the reality too. Even if Cody Rhodes would have been in the main event of WrestleMania, let's say if he's in the main event of WrestleMania right now, guess what? The result would have been the same, because Roman Reigns would be walking out of WrestleMania this year with this freaking title. I'm telling you. So if that's the case, are fans still going to bitch? Are fans still going to freaking be outraged by it? Because I'm telling you guys right now, you can say whatever you want about Cody and him deserving this main event spot, because I understand to a degree.
Absolutely. He
definitely does. But here's the thing, man. If Cody Rhodes were going to win this championship, Brian, he would have won it by now. Roman Reigns, the goal of this company, guys, is to have Roman Reigns surpass this title reign, which is Hulk Hogan, which is 1,474 days. I am telling you right now, and this is an easy way to take Cody Rhodes off of that spot once again, because he knows that because of those lawsuits, Brian, like we've mentioned, Cody and Roman was never going to overshadow those headlines. But you know what was going to? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Absolutely.
So WWE is playing everybody like a fucking fiddle, because with the COVID, they're playing along with this "we want Cody" shtick. And guess what? There was supposed to be this hijack of a show. Well, guess what? By the time you got outside of the opening segment, there wasn't even much of a hijack at all. Go and watch last night. I didn't see any hijacking of a show outside of a handful of 100,000 people saying Rocky sucks.
Right.
So they're playing everybody like a fiddle, Brian. They know what they're doing. They know what they were doing, bringing The Rock into this entire situation. And who knows when it comes down to this press conference tomorrow, as they have a big press conference in Vegas.
Right.
Yep. And who knows what that's going to be leading into in regards to, they're going to pump up WrestleMania. They're going to do all this shit. But it's just like, guys, like, because here's the thing, man. I'm for Cody Rhodes getting his title victory.
And he will.
And I'm all for Roman and Rock, because this is a once in a lifetime match. And Brian, but here's the thing I really hope WWE does not do. And who knows with this world title situation over on Raw, and we'll get to it in just a second. I pray to God, because this is what fans are saying now, because Cody Rhodes has already stated, Roman, I'm going to get my title opportunity, but it's not going to be at Mania. Right. And now fans, Brian, want to play Booker. They want to play, they want to be booking these shows. They want to fantasy book and say, well, we got to put Cody Rhodes in the match now. It's got to happen. Guys, are we fucking stupid? Do you know how much of an idiot it would make Cody Rhodes to say, it's not going to be at Mania, and then all of a sudden the snap of a finger at the press conference, now it's at freaking Mania? Plus, freaking Cody Rhodes has nothing to do with Roman and Rock in that story, nor vice versa. The Rock has nothing to do with Cody and Roman. Do we think before we fucking speak? I mean, Jesus Christ. Brian, before I lose my mind, your thoughts, your final thoughts before this.
Just, excuse me. Yeah, with that, I mean, I guess I'll save the, my thoughts about, particularly with Mania for the end of the show, because there's a segment there, but like, just to close it out with this, like, yes, this absolutely sucks for Cody. The timing, the everything, the whatever.
It was poorly done. This entire year, not just
now, right?
It's
absolutely.
This entire year,
yeah.
And I don't know why, Brian. People don't see that. It's like we're just going to ignore that the fact that he fought Brock Lesnar for no reason, that he nonsensically fought the Judgment Day for 5 to 6 months, but because The Rock is back and we don't like The Rock and we don't like part-timers, now we get to the Royal Rumble and say, okay, we gotta finish the story. Like,
I'm just saying, to that point of finishing the story, like I said, like you see this the reaction that Rock is getting now within the WWE fans, and I don't think that WWE or The Rock, and even Rollins said it on Raw, and I think that was genuinely a surprise for him that they did not expect people to boo The Rock. But now that they are, that's another avenue that they can go down if they want to make Rock the heel at some point, And I'm glad that's going to be money too. And
I'm glad you say that, because it's funny you say that, because and I'll end it with this, because I do want to get into a little bit of what happened on Raw. What do you think about this, man? And I don't necessarily agree to this, but I can see WWE going in this direction. I just made a TikTok about it. People have a mixed bag about it. Because how would you feel, Brian, if, let's say, The Rock does defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? And let's say, because this is where my mind's going to. I don't know if you remember WrestleMania 18, Rock versus Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, he was pretty much the heel for a decade with NWO. And then in the snap of a finger in the middle of that match, he became an ultimate babyface. And fans turn on The Rock in the snap of a finger. I can't help but think that because of The Rock and the reaction that he's getting, it could turn to something like that, to where the story's no longer going to be about Roman. It's now going to be about Rock, the heel, going up against Cody. And that's where maybe Cody Rhodes finishes the story. Am I with that to a degree? I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know, because here's why. I don't know how I would feel, Brian, if it is The Rock, the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, and all of that.
That's fair. For the title, that's fair. Yeah.
For the title is just having The Rock to take it. That's where I'm very hesitant about it.
Right.
But here's my other side to it, is that, and Brian, you've said this before I have, Cody Rhodes' story from the beginning has never been about Roman. Never. It's been about the title that his father never won. And at this point, with Cody and Roman, I don't know if there's anything that you can salvage to still have Cody and Roman at this point. I really don't think you can. But what you maybe can do, and again, I don't know how I truly feel about it, because again, The Rock taking the title for Roman doesn't really sit well with me.
Right.
But I can see WWE saying, man, with all this, with this reaction The Rock is getting, let's put the belt on Rocky and let's have him lose the title finally to Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes becomes even a bigger star, not just because of winning the title, but taking it from The Rock that fans are so irritated by because he took his spot from him at WrestleMania 40. Is everybody going to be on board with that? Obviously not. And I know that, because people think that now the story has changed with Cody. It's like, now Cody Rhodes' stories has changed. It's no longer just about not just winning the title his father never won, but now it's just about beating the ultimate villain, which is Roman Reigns. Like, it has to be Roman Reigns. To
It
me, at
doesn't.
this point, Brian, I don't
Doesn't.
even think it really matters at this point now. I mean, at first, going into this year, now that he won the Rumble, before they finally put the stamp on The Rock and Roman for this year, at this point, because I had a different take on it, I'm like, well, at this point, I don't know if there's another choice that you can do outside of Roman. Maybe Randy Orton, that's probably the only name, but now that things are slowly starting to change, that's probably another audible that WWE can possibly call. So I'll leave it at that. Brian, before we move on to Raw, your thoughts about that?
I just think the possible irony of all this is that the people that are so angry about this could possibly be the reason why it goes this direction. You know what I mean? Like, if you hate The Rock this much, and yes,
Yeah,
if Rock were to beat Roman for the title, and these people that are already pissed, holy shit, times 10. But you've created that nuclear heat with Rock. You still have the ultimate American babyface chasing his dream that you, again, have to build up again because he's lost that steam. So what happens? You have him face The Rock and beat The Rock. And then all of you that are so angry right now are going to be so fucking happy because he beat the ultimate heel on The Rock. Like, I mean, Jesus, dude.
right.
Like,
Now,
like
do I really think that they're going to do that though? No.
Yeah, no, I think
don't
they're still
they're
going
gonna
the
do
route
that.
of Roman, like, because now we're
Yeah.
too close to that Hogan. That Hogan.
I'm telling you,
milestone,
that's why.
right.
Now, again, it wouldn't shock me if they were to go that route, but I don't think it's going to happen anyway
Right.
because I think it's clear, and from what I've heard, like they really want to get Roman to surpass this title reign. I'm not going to say it's a
Yeah.
record. People say it's a record, and sometimes I play along with it. It's really not a record.
It's still Bruno.
But Bruno, bro, dude, to get to Bruno Sammartino,
Yeah.
Roman's gonna have to hold that title for another 4+ years, and I don't know.
No, that's like nobody's
that's
doing
just
that.
ridiculous.
So it's just
Yeah.
he's gonna go into number 2.
He's going to go into number 2. Exactly. So yeah, he's going to pass SummerSlam, which I know doesn't have an exact date, but the projected date from what I've been told is August 3rd, which is on a Saturday. And that would still be not enough days for Roman to pass Hulk Hogan. I think he'll be like another couple weeks shy, if I'm not mistaken. So
is that early for SummerSlam? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not. I thought it was generally a little later in the year.
They did it like the end of July. I remember like the end of July and like early August. Right. Yeah, usually they've been doing SummerSlam like middle of August, but as of late they've done it because I know Money in the Bank in Toronto is going to be early July. I think like July 6th or 7th, somewhere around there. And you know how WWE does pay-per-views. They like to do like once a month, like few months bill, because we got to have all these fucking pay-per-views. So, and I think so if that's true in regards to Money in the Bank being somewhere around July 6th or 7th, and then of course in that next month time frame, if that is to be true of that projected date, SummerSlam will be around August 3rd, which is on a Saturday, which is usually when WWE does their premium live events now. So, but we'll see. I mean, that's a few months away, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that as we get further along this title reign. So those are our thoughts, man. I know we went almost 30+ minutes in this cold open, but you know, this was something I know that's just been brewing for weeks and months, and you know, we just had to get this off our chest. So we appreciate you guys listening. But let's get into Monday Night Raw. There was an actual show called Monday Night Raw that happened this past Monday. So we'll get into it. Of course, we'll get more into Cody as well as Seth and the other side of Roman, which is Seth Rollins and this world heavyweight title situation. And we'll get to that later on at the end of the show. But let's start off with our first segment, our first topic for Monday Night Raw. And that is with the ladies. Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley was in the middle of the ring. She's just freaking pissed off because she got her ass whooped by Nia Jax last week. And she doesn't want to talk about qualifying matches within the Elimination Chamber. She's ready for a fight. She wants to fight Nia Jax. Adam Pearce comes out. He's trying to calm Rhea Ripley down. Says, listen, you want Nia Jax so badly. I'll give you Nia Jax at the Elimination Chamber with that championship on the line. Nia Jax music hits. They come rushing to the ring. Frickin' Nia Jax just shoves frickin' Adam Pearce out of the way, and then frickin' both ladies go to blows. Security comes out. They try to break up the two. And then Nia Jax ends up gaining the upper hand. She hits that Okozuna ass splash from the top rope and squashes freaking Rhea Ripley. And that is your segment. So Rhea Ripley's laid out once again. You can clearly see, Brian, that they're really trying to get Rhea Ripley more and more as the baby face as we get closer and closer to Elimination Chamber, because it is in Australia. Don't really know how I feel about it because, again, she's part of a faction that's supposed to be a heel faction and trying to get heel heat with this R-Truth stuff and everything else going on with the Judgment Day. It's just a very odd situation. Like, I really don't know what the identity of the Judgment Day really is.
I think they're all kind of in a state of flux too, just as with the R-Truth thing. I don't think they know.
R-Truth, listen, I like R-Truth. He's doing comedy gold, but like it's just the comedy gold can only go so far. It's just like he's doing this shtick with he's trying to give like his pay cut to JD McDonough, and it's just like I listen, I get it. Like he's costing them matches, but it's just like, okay, you've beaten up this dude twice. It's just like, and it seems like it's like, now I like the interactions with Priest and Truth. I do think they have a good little chemistry going together. It's like Damian has like somewhat of a soft spot for R-Truth, but it's like, if you're this dominant heel faction and you have this guy that's like some sort of a clown, it's just like, you think every time, because he's cost you a world championship opportunity with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's cost you all of these matches. You would think that the first thing that you would see, or the first thing that pops in your head when you see R-Truth, you want to beat the shit out of him. And it's just like, we keep kind of doing the same thing. All right. We do these little funny segments. Then we beat up R-Truth. And then we do a bunch of funny more segments. Then we beat up R-Truth again. It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
But back to this whole Nia Jax thing. So Nia Jax. Listen, I get it why she's in this situation. I knew she wasn't going to get this opportunity at Mania because, again, with Rhea, her being the heel and her being from Australia, Nia Jax is the woman for Rhea Ripley to beat, to build up Rhea Ripley going into WrestleMania, because she is going to be the world champion going into Mania. We'll get more into Rhea in just a second. So, I mean, the segment was okay. I mean, again, it's, they're both big powerhouse ladies, and they're going to use the physicality story angle, just trying to beat each other up, and security trying to separate both of them, or that type of spiel. Maybe they'll do a backstage segment, which could be cool. But man, I just look at the crowd, Brian, and I know you've been very high on Nia Jax as of late, as have I to a slight degree. She has gotten slightly better, even with the whole Becky Lynch angle and everything, and since she's came back. But man, I look at the crowd, and it's just like they're not budging at all. It's just they really never budged once the opening segment ended. And I don't know if it was a segment that I'm forgetting that happened before that kind of just put the crowd asleep, and that just kind of like affected going into this segment. I have no idea, but the crowd really did not give a shit about this at all. I think the match will be fun to a degree, at least for what it'll be. So I don't know, but I'll speak more about Rhea in just a second. But Brian, your thoughts about this match being official at Elimination Chamber between Nia Jax and Rhea Ripley? Floor is yours.
Well, I thought the segment was great, man. I mean, Rhea coming out there, just the way she delivered that promo. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, Rhea was good in her promo. Mm-hmm.
And even, I mean, dude, I love what Nia Jax is doing right now, coming out there, bowling over, what's his name?
Adam Pearce.
Adam Pierce. So
find my balls Pierce is what I like to call him. Adam, find my balls Pierce. But yes,
right. I think this is going to be an awesome match at Elimination Chamber. My only thing now is that I hope by the time we get to Mania that Jax hasn't just been lost somewhere in the shuffle, because this is arguably going to be, as far as Rhea Ripley and this entire title run, I mean, this is going to be probably her biggest, most signature win of her entire title run,
Yeah.
Outside
of winning the title against
winning the title, right.
Yeah.
I expect it to be a good match. Just the whole thing with the Judgment Day and her tying in, I don't want to get too far off into it, but the R-Truth, I mean,
yeah.
like something between now and Mania or after Mania, like the dynamic of this group is going to change. Somebody's going to be gone, maybe a couple new members or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
something has got to happen here because, like you said, I mean, you're
You would
building
think.
now going into Elimination Chamber, obviously in Australia. Rhea's going to be the face. You're building her as the face against Nia. You're having Damien in this pseudo comedy shtick with Truth, and just something's got to happen.
Yeah.
But just in this match and this promo, like I thought the segment was great. I loved it. I'm really looking forward to the match. I just hope Jax can just remain up there in the main event top tier picture, you know.
Yeah. I still feel like she is going to be involved with Jade Cargill at WrestleMania at some point. I think they're going to have her obviously lose this match. She's not defeating Rhea Ripley, guys. I think we can all agree and understand that she's not going to be losing this title. But yeah, I truly believe that Jade Cargill and Nia Jax are going to cross paths. And because, again, she was the one to eliminate Nia Jax. And I think that they want, at least for Jade Cargill, as well as Nia Jax, to have a big type of stage to where for Jade Cargill, it'll make her like a beast, as well as for Nia Jax solidifying a big Mania match for her, because she really hasn't had that in her career, for at least up until this point. So that'll probably where Nia Jax will most likely go. Again, if Jade Cargill is going to Monday Night Raw, you wouldn't think that like they would have her go to SmackDown when you already have Tiffany Stratton and Naomi there. That would just be weird. It's like, okay, cool, she's on SmackDown. Well, what about Raw? It's like Raw's kind of just left to the wayside. So you would think that they would want Jade Cargill, because you already have Stratton and Naomi on SmackDown, that you would put Jade Cargill over on Raw. I think it kind of just makes the most sense in regards to putting them on or at least Jade Cargill on Raw. And I know we've talked about too, like Jade and Bianca, which would be freaking badass, but I think they are going to do that at some point, Brian. I don't think it's going to be now. It'll probably be sometime, of course, after WrestleMania when the timing is right. But the way that they teased it in the Rumble, that like that matchup is probably going to happen at some point, probably just not now. And then as for Rhea Ripley, and I'll end it with this, obviously there's this Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup. Of course, Becky won hers against Shayna Baszler. Freaking Shayna Baszler, just once again, I don't know what the fuck she's doing. I don't know what we're doing with Shayna Baszler. She's being booked the exact same way, but she actually went a couple more minutes just in a match with Becky Lynch. Okay, great.
Right.
It's just freaking weird what we're doing with her. But anyway, outside of that, so Becky Lynch is going to be in this chamber. We expect Liv Morgan, as she called out. She said some words to Rhea Ripley. And I'm telling you, man, like, this is no shade to Becky, and Becky's done wonderful things, and I like Becky to a degree. But man, I'm telling you, man, Liv and Rhea Ripley, because if you're not going to it again, if I still expect Becky and Rhea, that still is like my gut feeling of where this is going to go. Becky's going to win the chamber, and she's going to face Rhea at Mania. Or, because we also talked about, Brian, a triple threat, but it's probably not going to be Nia Jax at this point. It's probably going to be Liv Morgan that also could be inserted into this whole triple threat if they're going to go that route. Mm-hmm. But I'll be honest with you, man, Liv Morgan and Rhea, that's where I would go, because Liv Morgan and Rhea just intrigues me more than Becky versus Rhea. It just does. And that's no shade to Becky, but there's a story there that you can really make it truly freaking special, because the fact that she got signed off of TV by Rhea Ripley. But I feel like they're either going to do two things, because I don't feel like they're going to do Liv and Rhea one-on-one, as much as I would love that to happen. But they're probably going to do two things. It's either going to be Becky and Rhea one-on-one, or they're going to insert Liv Morgan with Becky and Rhea. That's probably the two avenues we're going to go that they're going to go into. But Brian, before we get into our next topic, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just we're choosing between those two, I'm definitely off for Rhea and Liv. I mean, again, it's nothing personal against Becky for me. I have zero interest in a Rhea Becky match. I really do. Like, it doesn't intrigue me at all.
I hear you.
So yeah, if that's what it comes down to, and Liv cut a little backstage promo on Raw in which she said, or what did she say she was going to call her out on SmackDown this Friday or next Monday on Raw, or she had the
that's a good question. I'm not sure. I have to go back and listen to the promo. I would believe that she's now well, I don't know if she's because we don't know if she's officially Raw or SmackDown yet. Right now. I'll have to go back and listen to the promo. But she pretty much called out Rhea Ripley saying like I'm coming for Rhea Ripley because she's the one that attacked me and signed me off of television. So it makes sense in regards to she's going to be in the chamber probably as well. I don't know. Again, what other names I guess you can throw in there in regards to probably like a Zoe Starks, I guess. Maybe
a Cargill.
Maybe a Jade Cargill. They want to show Jade Cargill again to continue to protect her in these multi-women matches. You probably could see her in regards to that. Maybe you could see Nia Jax getting involved, and that could possibly lead into that matchup with Jade Cargill. There's a bunch of avenues where you can go. Zoe Starks can get involved, Jade Cargill, and a few other names. Of course, you got Liv, who will qualify. Well, actually, she's going to qualify. Well, she's in a match with Starks, and she's probably going to beat Starks.
Yeah.
So that leaves Zoe Starks out, actually. So who the freaking hell knows? Honestly, Brian, I wouldn't shock me if they'll do this, right? Ready for this? Watch this. They'll do qualifying matches, which I'm just guys like qualifying match. I don't know. It's just qualifying match. I think it's just fucking lazy, but whatever. They'll do a thing where it's like, all the people that lost in their qualifying matches, they'll get one more opportunity to qualify in the chamber. We're going to have like a fatal 4-way, whatever. All the people that lost because they've done that before, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like a Shayna Baszler or a Zoe Starks could still freaking get in or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. We shall see. But yeah, Nia and Rhea is going to be decent for what it is. The crowd is going to go freaking wild for Rhea because they are in Australia, and I'm sure it's going to mean a lot to her.
Absolutely.
And shout out to everybody from Riot City Wrestling that we have had the pleasure of interviewing people. I know.
Hopefully, some of them are actually there at the show. Able to make it there. That'd be badass.
Absolutely. So shout out to Riot City Wrestling. I'm sure it's a very big moment for them. That's where, of course, Rhea Ripley came from. That's the promotion that she came from in Riot City Wrestling, and that's who as Rhea Ripley today. So that I'm sure that's really big thing for them as well. So, but we'll see. We shall see. But I think it's evident, Brian, just to close this out, Rhea Ripley is going to become a bona fide babyface at some point, probably, because she's already getting cheered. And it would just be kind of weird to just have her go back into that heel persona, especially for me, because that's the thing too. Because like it's with you have her with Becky, and then you're gonna put her with Becky and Liv, and she's already getting cheered. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just a really see how weird this is, Brian. So where it sounds cool with her and Nia, but there's still a lot of holes and a lot of questions of like what we're doing with her going into Mania. So, but we shall see, and I'm sure we'll get more into it as we go on. But let's get into our next topic here. Our next topic is with the IC title, the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther cut a promo pretty much saying like, I'm running out of competition. Who's that guy's going to step up? Who is it? Someone tell me. I've pretty much beaten everybody. And Jey Uso's music hits. He comes out, he faces against, which I've said it already before, a match between Gunther and Jey was pretty much evident at this point. They've kind of teased it a little bit with backstage segments and all of that. And Gunther's like, listen, I'm going to beat you up so bad. You're going to go back to the days of when people couldn't tell you and your brother apart. And I was like, oh shit. So Gunther, man, I'm telling you, he really has, he's always been a decent talker, but he's been slowly getting better. Like he's been getting a lot 100%. More comfortable with this whole talking spiel.
He delivers good promos, man.
He really does, man. Shout out to Gunther. He's been doing a tremendous job. And that segment was pretty decent for what it was. But Jey Uso, it ends up, of course, they end up throwing hands. The Imperium, both Vinci and I'm already forgetting freaking Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah.
It's a 3-on-1 beatdown. The New Day jump into the ring to even up the odds, and all of Imperium end up retreating up the rampway, and then that is your segment. So, and that sets up, of course, a good old 6-man tag match, because that's just what we do in wrestling. Forget being creative. Forget thinking outside the box. Forget, it's WrestleMania season. Let's really get fun and creative. No, let's just be fucking lazy, and let's just do a 6-man tag because, but James, it makes sense because it's New Day, it's Imperium. They've been feuding for the last couple of weeks. Guys, I get it, man. But can we not do better than this to lead into a 6-man tag? And listen, the interaction was fine. I had nothing wrong with the interaction. And I have nothing wrong with Jey Uso going up against Gunther. Do I think that Jey Uso should dethrone Gunther? Hard no. I'm just hard no. Now, because here's the thing too, man. It's just at some point you would think that Gunther is going to lose this championship. And I've even stated this to shout out to once again to David, Top Bunk Sports. I spoke to him about this because Braun Breaker. It seems like that Braun Breaker is going to be on Monday Night Raw. He's already teased that he's going after the Judgment Day. He said that after his Royal Rumble appearance, so we believe that he's going to be on Raw. He won the Dusty Classic with Baron Corbin. That's a different discussion for a different day. Hopefully he's done with NXT. Hopefully,
right.
We shall see with that. But it seems like he's going to be the face. I guess in regards to it because Brian, as I'm thinking of this, because the one person I really truly believe that is believable and is the right person to dethrone Gunther is Ilya Dragunov. The problem is he's still in NXT holding that NXT title, and here you have Braun Breaker. Would Braun Breaker be the guy to possibly face Gunther and Braun Breaker beat him and win that IC championship? Now, I get it. You don't want to immediately thrust Breaker straight to the title picture because it might feel forced or whatever. But if you are going to create a star in this industry, like, why not? And it's the same thing I said about Tiffany Stratton in a match with Bianca. It's just like, have these people feel extremely important right from the jump, going after the biggest and the best dudes on the roster instead of like just working your way up, facing a frickin' Tozawa or a Michin Mia Yim or whatever the fuck it is, right? Have them feel important. Maybe not win the title right away, but because Brian, the only guy I can think of right now is Braun Breaker that could potentially win that championship. Or could they possibly have Jey Uso win this freaking title? It's possible. And would I mind it? It depends. I wouldn't have him lose clean. I would overbook the fuck out of this match if he's going to lose clean, because you don't want to have that on Gunther's resume that he lost to Jey Uso clean, especially when you're going to push him to the world title at some point. So if he is going to lose this title to Jey, I would not do it clean. I would overbook the fuck out of this match, but I don't think they're going to. I do think that they're going to have Gunther walk into Mania as champion. I don't think he's going to lose that title at Chamber, because who knows when they're going to have this match. I would believe that they're going to have it at Chamber. So who freaking knows in regards to it. But Brian, your thoughts, man, with this segment, with Gunther and with Jey Uso potentially being the guy to challenge Gunther for that IC title.
That was my first question because I couldn't remember, but they haven't announced when that match is. I mean, they haven't. At first I thought it was going to be Mania, but I mean, if they're doing it this early, maybe they're doing it at Chamber. If it's at Chamber, no way Gunther's losing. That's happening. So I mean, I guess if that's when they're doing it, that's. I can't see. I don't think Jey should take a clean loss there either, or be pinned cleanly there, because I think if he does, then I think that harms Jey as well. So, but if they did have it at Mania,
maybe his brother gets involved,
right,
and costs him the match. I don't know. And maybe you set something up for Gunther. Maybe I don't know, because like. Because because you also got to think of Jey as well in regards to where he's going. Because we feel like that he's going to be. I think it's evident that he's going to be facing his brother in a one-on-one match, probably at night 1 because Roman's going to be at night 2. So yeah, it's just because I don't know. I mean, because outside of Braun Breaker, Brian, like who is there? At least in the mid-card division, like because it can't be Chad Gable. I'm sorry, guys. Like I like Chad Gable. The guy has done nothing with Alpha Academy since he's lost Gunther the last time. Guys, I'm sorry. You can't have it be Chad Gable to just like book him this poorly and then say, poof, Expecto Petroleum, put him back in the match with Gunther and have him win the title. Absolutely not.
I'm not opposed to for Gunther and this title reign to end. And I mentioned this before with him just retaining at Mania. And at that point, whoever's champion is going to be champion. And world champion, and Gunther just relinquishes the title and moves on because nobody can beat him. I'm okay with that. Like that's.
I slightly disagree with that statement, Brian, because here's why. I think that because and that's the thing too, because like they could do that. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I don't know, like because I'm all for building a star. And you can build a star here. Like I would have somebody that is believable, like a Braun Breaker. And again, it depends on if the fact that he is going to be a baby face, but I don't know, man, him relinquishing the title. I don't know. That just doesn't sit well with me. I don't know. I feel like it should be for Gunther's sake. I think that he would want somebody, at least in his character, to have someone defeat him for that championship because he'll lose nothing. If it's a believable, respectable opponent,
he's not going to lose anything.
And he loses clean, he won't lose anything. And you're gaining and you're building up a star, whoever wins that championship. So I don't know, Brian. I don't know if I would go the route to relinquish that title. Is that something WWE would do? Yeah, because they do a lot of baffling, weird shit.
Well, I don't think it would be. I mean, I would prefer, like you said, it's either Braun or Ilio, but Ilio's not even up there, so we can kind of, it's not going to be him.
It's not going to be Ilio, unfortunately. It's not.
So you're left with Braun, which I'm all for. Like that's great. That's fine if that's the route you want to go. But I'm just saying I'm also okay with nobody beating him and him just going on to now challenge for the world title. And we talk about. I'm not a fan of tournaments and whatever, but you would have to have something like that for the title, which just in this case, I think that could also, it just elevates Gunther to a certain degree, in my opinion, where I agree with you. I like building the new star, but just in this case particular, I'd be okay going it the other way too.
It'll do wonders for Gunther. I'm not, swiping that underneath the rug. Like it'll do wonders for Gunther, but man, it's just, I think for Gunther's sake that, I think in his character, cause like he's all for like a challenge. Like I want somebody to step up. Like he respects, like, even though he's a dick, he's a heel character, but like he respects a good fight. He respects a good fight. And I think like for him to like just relinquish the title, I don't know if that would be relatable to his character in a way.
I hear you.
For him to just relinquish the title. I think it fits better if someone were to take that title away from him, because even if he were to lose the title or relinquish the title, he's not losing shit. Like no. I think Gunther at this point, the only thing that would hurt him at this point if he just loses to Jey Uso clean straight up, because we went from Brock Lesnar talking about Brock to little old Jey Uso. Like, so I don't know, but I would overbook the fuck out of this match. Like I said earlier, with freaking, I don't know, with Jimmy getting involved, costing him the title.
Because I think that makes sense, because now you can go into Mania and look, you got Rock and Roman. You still have to finish the blood. There's a lot of people in the Bloodline story, so that sets it up perfectly to now tell a story too with Jay and Jimmy evolved again within the Bloodline. you know?
Yeah, exactly. And you can further along that story with Jey, with Jimmy.
Yep.
And then again, yeah, and then listen, with Braun Breaker, I'm sure it'll be a mixed bag whether people will be fine if he takes the title or not. But it's just like, guys, like what other I'm looking at the mid-card division. It's just like it's gotta be somebody.
Yeah, there's nobody right now. I mean, that's it.
It's got to be somebody new. You know, it's got to be somebody new. It's got to be somebody that you can truly take that match, whoever is facing Gunther, and put the rocket strap to his back and have him freaking soar. You know, is Gunther and Braun Breaker going to captivate a lot of people? I'm sure it's to a degree, probably not. Especially the way Braun Breaker, if you've been watching him on NXT as of late, and it's probably a lot of it is because of the NXT crowd. They see him being in a freaking tag team with Baron Corbin, right? And it doesn't captivate a lot of people because he hasn't done shit over the last year. So I can understand to a degree why Braun Breaker taking the title from Gunther doesn't really do anything for me. So it's something that WWE is going to have to start figuring out soon because, or are they just going to go the route to have Gunther win 2 titles, to have him hold on to the World Heavyweight Championship, or have him hold on to the IC title? I don't know. But I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that either. In regard, because there were talks that he was going to be going after Seth in this world title before we heard about the whole Cody promo or decision on SmackDown. So who the hell freaking knows? So, and speaking of this world title, that's where we'll get to this final topic and where we will wrap things up here. And we're back with the whole Cody Rhodes situation here. So Seth Rollins starts the show off. You know, fans are chanting, his song and behind Seth, and freaking, I think Seth says something along the lines of, "Sounds like a pop to me." And that's a little dig to freaking Roman because, like, hey, like it's my little brother Seth Rollins over on SmackDown. He's like, yep, exactly, no pop. And then like he kind of, I think that honestly, Brian, was like a. I really feel like to a degree, maybe not to a full degree, that Seth Rollins kind of took that a little bit like to heart. I would say Seth Rollins is that type of guy that I think takes things a lot to heart, and I feel like to a degree he kind of took that and was like a little bit disrespected by it in a way. Even being Roman Reigns, a guy that he's worked with so many years. But so that was like an interesting dynamic. Of course, they had the "We Want Cody" chants, and then of course Cody Rhodes comes out. You had the "Rocky suck" chants. It was like freaking about a couple hundred some odd people that were chanting it, and then it just died within like the snap of a finger. It died. You didn't hear much about it after that. But yeah, Seth is like still trying to plead his case pretty much about, what's your decision, man? I got to know what your decision is. Like, are you facing me? What's your decision, and who you're going to face at WrestleMania? And Drew McIntyre comes out. And he starts playing like, listen, he's kind of pleading with Cody. He's like, you got to finish the story. You got to do
see
it.
His shirt?
Yes, the dude, Drew McIntyre, man.
He's killing it.
Freaking killing it. He really is, man. It's so good to see. I have been so hard on WWE because I was like, especially when he came back, I was like, what are we doing with this guy? He comes back as a face, doing the same thing with Gunther, doing the same thing in the mid-card division. This dude should be thriving. And thankfully to God, we're finally here. The freaking shirt was great. Another dig to CM Punk and everything. So he's like, I got like extra smalls and mediums, by the way, if you want to get it was dude, he's just freaking fantastic, right? And he's trying to like plead his, he's playing like the delusional character in a way too, to where like, he's trying to like thinking that him and Seth are gonna have like another match at Mania. It's like it's me and you at the Mania match, and then Cody, you go finish your story. And he goes deep, tries to get deep in a story with Dusty Rhodes, his father. He's like, don't let your dad down, don't let the people down. And like Seth's like, all right, dude, don't be a prick. And like, first of all, dude, like, what makes you think that you're gonna face me again for the world title? Like, didn't I just beat you twice for this title? And he's like, and then Drew's like, oh, by the way, didn't you lose to him 3 times before already too?
Right.
So it was a funny little interaction. But guys, Cody Rhodes, and this is the only thing I find weird, Brian. Cody Rhodes said nothing. It's like, Drew McIntyre like kind of put him in his place. He's like, Cody, please, I'm not finished. It's like he's like this little toddler. It's like, listen, Cody, like step aside, the big boys are freaking talking here. Guys, not a word. It was kind of really weird in a way. I mean, the interaction was funny, but it was just weird for Cody's sake, Brian, right? Forget like Drew McIntyre and his whole spiel, because that was damn solid.
Yeah.
And of course, like with Seth Rollins and everything. It's just weird with Cody. He just came, it's like he came across as like just being pushed to the side, like almost being somewhat bullied in a way. It was just very weird. Like he comes out in this smile, right? Because he's the top baby face and everything's great. It's just like, dude, like, listen, can you cut the smile, Cody, every once in a while? Like, make it believe that you actually got your spot taken away, or that freaking, you had to do the deed for The Rock because you knew it was a big match, and like, come have some type of a belief. Listen, and I get it why he's smiling, because again, he's the big top star of the company. Vince McMahon always say like, oh, where's your smile? Like, make sure you smile. You're the top baby face. People love it when you smile. Yeah. Freaking Vince McMahon voice and everything. But yeah, it was just very odd. And then it just ended with some push. So Drew McIntyre delivered a Glasgow kiss to freaking to Seth. And then Cody kind of pushed or shoved Drew out of the ring. And then that was the segment, really. So I like, listen, here's what I'll say, because I don't want to be, too harsh here, but I really like what Drew McIntyre is doing. I really, really do. I like that. It's just what they're doing, what they did with Cody in this segment was very, very, very bizarre. It's like all of these people are like behind Cody. This is probably the most over, Brian, that Cody has been in a very long time. Now, granted, he gets cheered. He's still a top star in the industry, but this is the most he's really truly been over with the crowd. All of this support he's had behind him for a very long time. And you would think that they would like do, like, it's just, Cody just came across as just like him getting bullied or pushed aside. Like, hey, like, get out of the way, kid. The big boys are talking here. That I didn't really get at all. And of course, and we'll get to the bull rope match with Shinsuke in just a second. But Brian, your thoughts in regards to this opening segment to start the night off?
Oh man, look, this is where this is headed. I really believe this is going to be a triple threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to your point of like Cody, and that odd interaction, I think it's perfect, and I think it's Cody understanding what just happened last week and them leaning into it. It's Cody, you're right, coming out there smiling, company man, like, finish my story, I've heard this. And then him kind of being an afterthought, right? Like the whole bullied thing, right? That's what they're going to play up right now.
Yeah. And I get it why they're doing it, because you're right. This is going to be most likely a triple threat for the world title. It's going to be Drew, it's going to be Seth, and it's going to be Cody. And then of course you have Roman and Rock for their main match. But yeah, continue.
And I think that's for where we are, right? And decisions that had to be made for whatever reasons, right? You agree with them, don't agree with them, Team Cody, Team Rock, what the fuck ever. Like, honestly, I think this might be best case scenario, right? You have all this sympathy for Cody right now. Drew is doing an amazing as a heel. Cody's story, like him winning that title, is irrelevant. It doesn't make any sense. He doesn't need to win that title. So you have this triple threat. Drew wins it. He gets, heel, heat, whatever. Again, keeping Cody from winning, because Cody doesn't need that title. Drew is now that, the Raw champion. Mm-hmm. And you continue the story with Cody, however, going after the title that he's always said he's going after. But right now, I think it's a perfect opportunity to build Drew as that heel. Cody doesn't take the pin at Mania. Seth does. He's off TV rehabbing. You got the big heel on Raw in McIntyre, and you got the big heel on SmackDown in either, well, I would say Roman, because I don't think Rock's winning the title, but
yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, I'm for this, and again, just the whole the whole how Cody looks and is responding and his facial expressions and him just kind of disappearing into the background, that's by design. Like I think he, again, him, Rock, whoever, like they're hearing this reaction and what's going on. And if they're smart, they're going to lean into it. And I think that's exactly what they're doing. Like that whole like Seth and Cody interaction, and for that, like that should have never happened, really. Like I wish we could rewind time and like that shouldn't have happened.
Right,
Like,
right, yeah. It's just a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, to where like, just from like you said, from last week in that segment with Seth Rollins, it's just like, man, like I'll think about it. I don't know what the fuck my story is, bro. Like shit.
Yeah.
I thought I fucking know everything. It's like he's in deep thought. He's like, fuck, shit. Like, do I listen to Drew, man? It's like, do I do this for my father? Like, what am I doing? It's just like, dude, like if you don't know by now what your story is, it's just like, then what the fuck is the story? You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. Could this all work? Yes. To a degree, yes. It's just, man. And again, it's like we've said before too. It's just, all of this is just very unfortunate of just how poorly executed we've gotten to this point as well. But there is a way for this to work in regards to Drew McIntyre. That's honestly, Brian, the only positive that I'll see how it goes. I mean, I got no fucking choice, but I do like how this could really truly help Drew, because at this point, because of how Drew is doing right now, you have to take advantage of what he's doing. It's just unfortunate that now Cody's tied to this, and because of like the segment, like you said, Brian, from last week, they're just going to have to do a lot, and I mean a lot, to really truly make Cody stay face in all of this consistently.
Right.
That's just where I'm at in regards to all of that. But the bull rope match, man, and we'll finish this off here. We won't, go too in depth with it, but the bull rope match, man, was slightly entertaining. It was fine. I mean, it's Cody and Shinsuke. They're no longer really going to prolong this, nor should they. They've already faced each other twice, I want to say already. So I'm fine with the match being on Raw. Of course, it's, it symbolizes Dusty and his bull rope match back in the day. So they want to tie that with that. The Drew McIntyre attack was cool. Again, solidifying Drew as the freaking heel. I do like that a lot. I know the mist in the face. I'm sure like people probably thought like, is that blood? I'm like, no, it's the red mist in the face from Shinsuke earlier, but he wins via the crossroads and Shinsuke is down. It is unfortunate for Shinsuke too. It's just like, he's got this new shtick, and then like he once again went after Cody, and once again, he freaking failed. But for Cody, of course, I mean, if he is going to be in this match for the world title, I mean, again, it's an unfortunate situation too with Shinsuke, but for Drew to attack him after the match, again, man, just like I said earlier, man, Drew is really doing some really good stuff, truly solidifying himself, being a true badass heel. And I just hope that continues. I hope they keep their foot on the gas pedal with that. And then, of course, you had after Raw went off the air, Sami Zayn came in for the save. I think Shinsuke was a part of like that whole interaction as well. So they'll probably do, I can see next week or in the near future, it's going to be Sami's good old time. And that's what I mean, Brian, about this. It's just like the answer to everything is like a tag, impromptu one-on-one match. It's just like, where is the true creativity of like adding the extra layer? Like, listen, every now and then they'll get creative with stuff. At least with Drew and his character, they're doing well. But it's just like, okay, a tag match with like with Sammy and Cody, and then you're gonna do Shinsuke and Drew. They better have a plan, man. They just better have a plan to really execute this, and to call, if you're gonna call an audible and do this triple threat, you better make this shit work, and you better make everybody stay face. Of course, for Seth, like, it'll be easy for Seth because he's going to lose this title. He's not going to lose any credibility because then he's going to go freaking off of TV. But for Drew, man, hopefully this does wonders for Drew. I don't know, unless after WrestleMania, Brian, I don't know how I'll feel about this whole Cody situation with him with the world title, him with Roman, him with Rock, maybe until we get past WrestleMania. But if
Yeah.
this can do wonders for Drew, then at the end of the day, then I think all of those little minor negatives can outweigh the big positive that is Drew McIntyre potentially finally getting that big victory, because that's what he needs, man. It's just like, okay, he beat Sami Zayn. He's winning these matches on Raw. But when it counts, right, against Seth multiple times and all these other people, he hasn't been getting the job done. And that's what's really I'm very hesitant with. But if they can do this for Drew now on the biggest stage, that would be great. And I think that would be the biggest positive that can outweigh a little bit of negatives that are in this situation here. But Brian, your final thoughts on this bull rope match and finish the show off, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, that was a great throwback, man. I haven't seen a bull rope match in God knows how long.
It was entertaining. It was entertaining
absolutely.
for what it was. Absolutely. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think this is, Cody and Shinsuke. You got to move on from there, and that this was the blow off again. I think a lot of things are up in the air with Cody, Drew, Seth. How who's facing who, whatever. So, it was a match that, yes, we've seen with a little twist with the bull rope, but I'm fine with it. And yeah, for Drew, you're right. He's doing excellent, man. And like, here's the thing that like is really so funny to me. That just really shows it's really with wrestling fans. It really just comes down to I'm a fan of this guy or I'm a fan of that guy, right? Mm-hmm. Because how could you not also, right, this sentiment you have for Cody that, oh my God, he's been, hard luck and he's got to finish the story and he's been struggling in adversity. And so he's got to win the title. When here you have a guy like Drew who went through largely the same thing, right? Released from the company, come back, builds himself into main event, WrestleMania, wins it, boom, the whole world fucking shuts down. Like, how that's a great story too, for him to get a WrestleMania moment, and now with the crowd and so look, man, all I'm saying is like it's all of this, man, is just like it comes down to like just people bitching about like this is my favorite guy and he's got to win. Because there's stories for all of them,
See, that's what I can't stand about this wrestling community. But like, listen, right. I'm a fan of a lot of people, but even though like maybe I don't like a certain somebody, doesn't mean I'm not going to give somebody like the benefit of the doubt to try to entertain me or to captivate me or to see what they can do. Again, Carmelo Hayes is a perfect example. Look what the fuck he just did this past Sunday, and I was like, shit, this is good shit, right? So. That's what I really hope. Like if we could take anything away from this whole we want Cody stuff, listen, you can be a fan of Cody, you can be a fan of The Rock, you can be a fan of Roman Reigns, and I know we're all
but don't be threatening people's fucking family. Like
right,
don't like that shit. Like be a fucking fan. Like, if you're a fan of wrestling, then be a fan of wrestling, man. Like you think the fucking Rock doesn't know what he's doing within the wrestling business?
We will trash something when it's deserved to be trashed on. But guys, at the end of the day, man, like we trash something and we're critical about it because we want to bring the best out of these shows and we want to bring what's best out of these wrestlers. To threaten somebody and to personally attack people, guys, it's not that fucking serious. Like there's ways to criticize pro wrestling and to want to seek better from a show or a superstar. And then there's just being fucking ridiculous.
Right.
So I really hope, regardless, it doesn't matter who your favorite wrestler is, Brian. I've said that from the jump since we've started this platform. It doesn't matter who your favorite wrestler is. It really doesn't freaking matter because a certain somebody may not be your favorite freaking wrestler and they could be doing wonders for the company. So just because you don't like somebody, you can't freaking just swipe underneath the rug and say they're not doing really good stuff right now. And I've said it with Carmelo. I think he's been doing decent stuff with Trick, and I just don't understand the hype with Carmelo. But hey, if you do what you did this past Sunday, I can get on board. And again, I'm not a fan of these people, but that's just how it should be and how criticizing wrestling and being objective should freaking be. And that's all it is, man. So people,
calm down.
calm down and cut the shit, people. Like we act like we're
You're still going to tune
12-year-old.
into Mania. It's still they're still
Right.
going to set records. And you
It's-
know what? At the end of the day, again, Rock Roman, you're going to enjoy the shit out of that, man.
Exactly. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've hyped this up now for years, and all of a sudden, like now because it's Cody, and then because it's The Rock, and Cody has to finish a story, and I need to see Cody win and not a freaking part-timer. Now we just don't want the freaking match. Like,
Right.
stop. It's just enough, man. So, well, that was a lot, man. And thank you guys for once again tuning in to another edition of the Ruthless Talk podcast. Our next episode is coming this weekend. We will be talking some AEW. Of course, Tony Khan has another big announcement, and who knows, it could be a potential returning superstar that we have been hearing over the past several days. And we'll be talking.
Or
a
it
little
could
bit
just
about
be
that.
like Dynamite's moving to Thursdays at 7.
Right. Buy your tickets for next week's Dynamite. Or better yet, we got Revolution. We still got a couple more tickets to sell for Revolution. It's probably sold out, by the way. I don't know. Is it sold out, Revolution?
Actually, I just, you know what? I heard where did I hear it today? I don't know. Or you know what I heard? I was listening to shout out, man, to freaking Richie again and Relived and Retold podcast.
Yeah.
Check that out. I was listening to that, and the guy said I think there was like 50 tickets left. Or
50
like,
yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So, yeah, man, of course, we'll dive into Revolution when we do get closer and closer to that event, and we'll talk a little bit about that big announcement and seeing what that is, and a little bit, once again, getting recapped with everything going on in AEW and getting closer to that AEW Revolution event. And of course, we got SmackDown. Your boy is going to be at SmackDown this Friday. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Cody Rhodes is being advertised for the event. That could just be a freaking dark match or something. I don't even freaking know. But there's a lot of stuff going on with SmackDown. You got, Bayley and Damage Control. They're going to continue to tell their story as their match is official for Mania. You got stuff with that. Hopefully you got Final Testament. You got Lashley and the Prophets. What's going to go on with that? You got this KO and Logan Paul feud still going on. And then, of course, you got freaking Roman. I don't know if Roman Reigns is going to be in the building. I highly freaking doubt it. But I'm sure you'll get LA Knight. You'll get Randy Orton. Maybe they'll continue to tell a story with Orton and with Solo again. So who knows, but your boy's going to be in the building, and I will be posting a lot of content. So you see the banner down below. Make sure you guys follow us on social media, on TikTok and Instagram. That is Ruthless_Talk. And of course, subscribe to our new YouTube channel. We are up to 60 subscribers on YouTube. Want to thank everybody that has smashed that subscribe button down below. And thank you guys for being a part of this community. Like I always say, this is a wrestling community that everybody can be proud of. Right. If you could take harsh criticism, and sometimes I've been told to be a little bit negative. So if you can take that harsh, honest, objective criticism, then hey, welcome to this community and we're happy to have you. But thank you guys for smashing that subscribe button. Thank you guys for following our platforms. We also just hit 1,300 followers on TikTok today.
Nice.
So thank you guys so much for that as people continue to smash that follow button over there. We're very close to 1,200 over on Instagram. So our community's continuing to build, man, day by day. It's all thanks to you guys. And again, shout out to all the content creators as well that we've met, people like Richie and people like David from Top Bunk Sports, as well as people like Shay and Sons podcast. I had the honor of being on their show talking about the Royal Rumble and everything. So, but yeah, man, we got a lot of more fun stuff coming your way. Of course, we got Elimination Chamber, AEW Revolution, and of course, WrestleMania that's right around the corner. Hopefully we're not limping, legit limping, literally and figuratively, freaking with all these injuries going on, right? So, but we shall see, man. But Brian, your final thoughts before we end the show.
We'll just keep it short and sweet, man. Throw back to Big Bill. Just stop being SAWFT.
FT. Soft. Freaking,
that's it,
man.
Look,
yeah.
we're all, as a wrestling community, at the end of the day, you're all good enjoying the shit out of WrestleMania. So stop fucking crying.
Thank you guys for tuning in. That is going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli.
I'm Brian Thomas.
And until next time, and there will be a next time, your boys are signing off saying salutes.
Peace out.
And take care, everybody. Peace.
Let the body hit the floor. Let the body hit the floor. Let the body